Hey everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today here on Blind Whiskey Reviews, the most honest reviews on YouTube. Today we are bringing back a segment that I haven't done in quite a while, and I'm excited to bring back. I was calling these always my speedy sample reviews, but half the time they ended up being what I called my not so speedy sample reviews. I just couldn't get through them quick, and at the end of the day I realized that I don't want to rush through a tasting of whiskey. Why would I do that? So these are just going to be sample reviews. We'll come up with some kitschy name for them at some point in the future, but if you guys haven't joined me for one of these before, these are just samples of whiskey that distilleries have sent me to review. Sometimes they only send you a little 2-ounce sample or 50 ml sample or whatever it is. So I use those in these type of reviews because I don't feel, I can't do a full bottle review. I can't open the bottle. I can't taste it down the line after it's had some airtime. So I'm going to use this format for those reviews. These are also samples of whiskey that people have sent me or given me over the last period of time, through trades or through people just sending me stuff. So I put those whiskeys in here too, so that way I can get those onto the channel, review them for you guys, so you guys know what those whiskeys are as well. I was always doing reviews, like follow-up reviews on whiskeys that I did blind reviews of. We're not going to be doing those anymore. There may be a few more of those left in here. I really don't know what's left in this box. There may be some of those left in these boxes that I had from older bottles that I reviewed, but I'm not going to be doing that anymore. Our format now for the reviews is always going to be the pop the top, tell you what I think initially, do the blind review, and then do the last pour review. So that's how the regular bottle reviews are going to go. So we're not going to be putting those in these samples anymore. So these are really, going forward after we get through what's in here, going to be distillery samples and samples that people have sent me. So that's what we've got going on. If you haven't joined me for one of these before, we got 24 samples in these two boxes, and we'll be using my tablet and a random number generator to decide which sample we will be tasting today. So let's not waste any more time and let's get to it. We've got a random number generator on my tablet. We'll hit the button 3 times so that way we can make sure it is absolutely random. 1, 2, and 3. Sample number 9. So there's 12 samples in each box. We have 4, 8, and this one in the front will be 9. Looking away and pouring some whiskey. All right, that should do it for the review. Look away and put it back. All right. Very dark in color. Very nice light fruity nose, like right away. You get that nice like crisp apple, vanilla. Touch of heat on the nose, not too much. A little bit of citrus there, a little bit of like a red fruit quality. The alcohol's picking up a little bit. I can't get too close to the glass. Yeah, definitely like red fruit in there. Looks like a juicy red apple. A little bit of a berry character. Definitely vanilla. A nice nose. Let's get into the taste. Cheers. Can't put my finger on it quite yet, but there's something familiar in this whiskey. Definitely different. I mean, it's almost, I feel like there's almost like a hint of char, smokiness. Can't decide which one just yet. Yeah, proof feels a little bit higher. Maybe we're at that like 95 to 100 range. Got some nice light fruity qualities up front. A little bit of that berry character. Definitely a bit of heat in the mid palate. You got a little bit of a harsher burn on it. Toward the back, I mean, it definitely feels like a bit of charred oak. Maybe the slightest wisp of a smoke in there. Just the slightest hint. Slightly sweet on the finish, like nicely balanced with some bitter oaky notes and some of that sweet fruit kind of coming through. Let's get another taste. Yeah, I like what's here. I mean, there's some good flavors. Like I said, there's just kind of a lot of heat at the moment. think I need to get some water on the palate, clear it up, get some more taste of this whiskey. So I think I'm going to do what I do in a lot of my blind side-by-side reviews, which is instead of wasting your guys' time, I don't want to rush through this whiskey. Like I said, I don't think it's a benefit to the whiskey to try to rush through a review and just take a few tastes and tell you what I think. So I want to spend some more time with the whiskey. I'm not going to waste your time doing that. We'll speed the video up. That way you guys don't waste your lives. We'll save you a few minutes. And we'll come back with my thoughts and my final review and score on this particular whiskey. So we'll be right back. All right, so took a few more sips of the whiskey, had some water. This one's really baffling. The charry character is really kind of interfering with my tasting of the whiskey to some extent. Like, there's a lot of great notes in here, and that char character really is, I won't say it's overwhelming, but it's definitely very present, and it's definitely, you got to dig around, you got to work around it and kind of find those flavors in between it. And not to say that I don't like that character, I do. I think it's good, and I like the way it works with the whiskey. But this tastes very familiar, and I feel like I'm going to be very angry when I find out what this is. Like, I couldn't put my finger on it. It definitely tastes like something I've tasted in the past. So, I think it's good. It's not knocking my socks off, or it's nothing crazy at this point. I'm going to give it an 80, an 85. I think it's a very solidly good whiskey. The proof, like I said, feels in that maybe 100 proof range, maybe even a little bit more. But it feels like it's got some age on it. Like I said, there's a lot of char there. A decent amount I feel like is oak. And so it definitely feels like this is a little bit older whiskey. I like the flavors that are here. I think it's pretty complex, and there's a lot going on. It's just kind of, like I said, that char is kind of overwhelming to some extent. But let's find out what this whiskey is. I'm incredibly curious. This is, oh yeah, it totally makes sense now. This is the Kentucky Owl Rye, batch 1, 11 years old, 110.6 proof. And this was sent to me by Fred a long time ago. He sent me the sample quite a while ago. You know, I've had this whiskey before. I don't remember it tasting so charred. It's just incredibly heavy on the oak char. And so I think that was really kind of messing with me on this one. I like the flavors that were here. And I think the chars what kind of hid the rye quality from me, because those on the back end is where it got really charry. And that's where normally you get that really intense rye spice and black pepper. And that just wasn't kicking in on this because of that charred character. So I'm really glad he sent me this sample. Thank you so much, Fred, for sending it out. I'm glad I got to it. It is a really good whiskey. I do remember it being better before. So maybe being in the sample bottle for a while. I don't know how old this sample was when he poured it, but I do remember enjoying this whiskey a little bit more than I'm tasting it now. I don't remember it being so charred. So maybe when the bottle's a little bit younger, perhaps it doesn't taste that charred, but it's still a fantastically delicious whiskey. Really good. Batch 1 has been by far my favorite out of all the ones that I've tasted. I think there's only the 3, but out of those 3, 1 was always my favorite. So definitely let me know what you guys think of Kentucky Owl Batch 1 Rye in the comments down below. I think it's pretty darn good. Let me know what you think. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at blind_reviews. You can catch me on Mission Bottle Kill on Instagram, and you can send me an email at blindwhiskeyreviews@gmail.com. And until next time, cheers.